Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Her Podcast featuring the one and only James Sinclair. How you doing today, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. Glad to be here.
I know that's right. We love the energy here. So
Yes.
I had to it's because I was like, this is the third member of NC Elite that came in. So I was like, I gotta get all it's like because y'all always should be showing love on all the post game interviews. Like I was like,
Mhm.
man, shout out to y'all. So I was like,
Yeah.
like they all about it. So like they
Oh, we
stick together.
we appreciate you. And before we can get started, we gotta shout out you. You carved a new niche, a new lane in the local basketball scene with the podcast and the interviewing. So shout out to you. And you're covering real topics from local sports to overseas to mental health. You talk about real things. So shout out to you. So that's why it's an honor to be here for sure.
Oh, don't make me cry later on, but it'll be cry tears
So
of joy.
silly,
So.
girl.
But let's get it started. So, James, can you tell us your sports story to how you got to where you are in your journey?
Sure, sure. Played locally for Smith High School. Um, did not get any offers. Was undersized and underskilled, but I stayed committed. Stayed in the gym. Stayed training. Stayed doing the necessary things. Really, just stayed loving the game, and just waited for opportunity to present itself. It took a while, but the opportunity did present itself. Got to these local leagues, playing in every league I could play in. Started off in High Point with Level Up, and that's when I met Mr. Ben Injai. And from there, it's history. He had the connections and the opportunities to really get me overseas to get a good look and a real good evaluation of my game. And just from there, we began to build NC Elite and continue to play at the local level at a high level. And then right now, we're just building NC Elite and still playing overseas in the different cups that we can. Yeah.
For sure. So, with you talking about Smith as in like Smith
Ben
in
Smith.
Greensboro?
Yes, 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 yes. Man,
What?
I would transfer there just for basketball, and I would transfer back to Southeast for academics. If I could redo it, or if I had mentorship, I would have just stayed at Southeast, because what I learned is that you if you kill it in whatever market you are, they'll come see you. At that time, the powerhouses was Smith, Dudley, Grimsley, and Page. So you know, I thought I was good enough to play in the inner city and get some looks. Boy, mm-mm. Inner city kids, those big four was a different monster. And had I known better, I would have developed at my home school and just did better at Southeast and got looks there or tried to get looks there. But it was great though to be a part of such a well-known community high school such as Smith, because my family went to Smith, so it was a no-brainer. Yeah.
Who were some of the players during that time when you were at there that were like competing in, like you say, the powerhouses of the high schools? Who were like some of the players
Mm.
that you competed or played against, or you seen that like, dang, this
I
is this
I
took a
would
whole nother
say
level.
I give you the players that we kind of looked up to were class behind Shamar, Kennard, Marsha Reed, um, PJ Harrison. We looked up to those players. As far as on the women's side, Jazz, Brittany Drew, um, we came up in that era of basketball, and they all played for the major teams. Yeah.
Oh man, shout out to Brittany Drew for the Drew Effect League. Shout out to her for
Yeah.
like, I mean, because it's not every. I always and I think of this like it is not every day you see, say, a league like a pro am league that is actually run and operated and owned and created by a woman in sport.
Yes.
Like it
Yes.
is not every day you see something like that, but to
Nope.
see, like see something that Brittany Drew has created, and
Hmm.
like all some of the players, top of the best, whether they played in the league, played in the G League, overseas, competing, it's like this
Yeah.
is this is
Yeah.
this take it into a whole nother level. So like
Well
for
said.
you. So for you, you being part of NC Elite,
Mhm.
what was that like to be able to showcase your talent at both the Drew Effect League as well as
Mhm.
the League NC?
Oh man, it meant the world because those are the two major leagues. All the leagues are super competitive, but when it comes to the Drew and the League NC, you know that those are the top tier leagues. That if you're gonna perform, those are the leagues you want to do it in because the talent level, the competition is elevated because it's the summertime first and foremost. So you got guys that play at a high level that got time to pull up. So those leagues get extremely competitive, and those leagues, as you well know, have the best media coverage. So you got to show out, you got to represent, you got to play well in those leagues. So it meant the world to perform at a good level in the most important leagues in the Triad.
For sure. And this leads to my question, with NC Elite, what would you say is something to think what is something that a lot of people do not know about the NC Elite that, makes NC Elite stand out from everybody?
What a lot of people don't know, as we talked before off camera, is the potential to go overseas and get a honest evaluation. NC Elite will funnel you to the Georgia Panthers, which is a professional team, which can get you overseas. NC Elite will funnel you to pretty much anything Trinity United. Trinity United is a umbrella of sports owned by Jermaine Barnes, and that's a plethora of opportunities for you to get pro experience or pro evaluation, whether it be a UBA, whether it be United Pro, whether it be overseas, whether it be the LDC program. NC Elite serves as that funnel, and that funnel is even made possible by the connections of our captain Ben. You know, a lot of people don't know that about NC Elite.
For you, you got a chance to play overseas in the
Yeah,
professional level,
yeah.
and a lot of people like to overlook or try to downplay overseas competition. But from your
Mhm.
perspective, what would you say are some of the misconceptions of the overseas competition?
If I do it here, I can do it over there. And then you get over there and you realize professionals are professionals for a reason. They're faster, they're stronger, and they think better. So the misconception, sometimes pickup ball can lie to you until you get around some professionals and see that their whole approach and their whole mind to the game is different. Now, with that being said, strength, size, and mind being different, the game is played much faster because everybody code. Now we're worrying about how to manage and manipulate the game to secure a win. So that's the biggest difference. Um, and then also, when you're playing overseas, it's always an away game in a sense because you're the American. So you can't necessarily, how can I say, look for the friendly whistle all the time, look for the privilege all the time. It's an away game. You're the foreigner now. You're in their home country. Yep, those are some big misconceptions for sure. Hmm.
Because I would say, first of all, I ain't gonna lie, I love the overseas competition. To me, it's a lot more physical than,
I love it.
say,
I,
the Americanized versions of like what the league
yeah,
has, like what the American league has been like lately. It ain't
yeah.
physical to what I've grown up with. It's like,
How do
but
you
like
how do you like? Yeah. What about the offensive schemes? Do you like the way the ball moves overseas versus American? What about style of play? You
I
like the style of play?
that you know what? Nobody has asked me this. Like I have watched overseas basketball for like a couple of years now because I have a friend that plays and stuff. But
Uh,
like, and I knew, but also know people that actually play overseas, and I've always asked them like, what's some of the misconceptions and stuff because it's like a lot. Like I said, a lot of people like to try to downplay like overseas competition. So easy, you just play against, but it's like if you look at who's the best players in the NBA right now, they're foreigners. The foreigners are
yeah.
the top five best players in the league right now for the
They
NBA.
value the best shot over the best looking shot. and that changes your whole approach offensively.
And I think to me also, I think what I love about the style of overseas is it's very fast paced.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like they
Yeah.
like
Yes.
it's so fast paced. Like, yeah, you're not gonna get called a whistle a lot, even though there was some like, dang, like, is that not a foul?
Is that?
Like, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
I think it's more, but it depends on what teams you watch. You could see how certain
Hmm.
teams are formed and how, like, what type of chemistry is. If say that team has great chemistry,
Hmm.
you gonna see some great basketball.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, it's more like it's it's more fast paced. It's more, you know, it's it's not just one. It's not like not a lot of say ISO. It's more
Not a
of a
lot of bop bop. Not a lot of bop bop. Tween tween. I used to
right.
think that .5 decision making thing was cap, but it's real because of the shot clock and because the overall length and speed of guys. You need to be able to make a decision quickly. I used to think it was cap, but nah, that's serious.
And I think too, another thing that a lot of people, because a lot of people when they think of overseas, it's like, oh, these players were playing overseas because they couldn't make it to the league. Well, guess what? Maybe they are getting more value there. They're
You
getting
know
more
that.
opportunity there because
You know
you
that.
cannot say, because I always think you cannot say somebody failed if they didn't make it to, like, say, the NBA league. You
Yeah.
can't say they didn't fail if they make it to overseas, because
Mm-mm.
you make it to overseas, you made it. You at the highest. There's, like, a lot of people forget there's certain levels of how
Thank
you
you.
get to. There's certain levels in certain countries where you can be able to showcase your talent. Yes, it's just like the NBA where you can have a great game, right? But you can get traded so quickly, and it's just like, it's nothing personal, it's just business. But the difference is, with overseas, you oversee, like,
Thank you.
you're not going to be able to say fly across cross country to say go home unless you have a plan. So that's why I
Yeah.
say, to me, I love overseas more. I appreciate the overseas players so
Yeah.
much more because of,
Yeah.
say, a lot of people don't understand the hard work, the talent, and the effort they have to continue to play, and the sacrifice that a lot of people don't know is the sacrifice. Like,
Yeah.
imagine being at a country alone for 9 to 10 months and doing what you love to do. And there
Right.
may be times where the language barrier, that's another thing, the language barrier, you
The
may have
language.
to, like, the language barrier, trying to figure out what they're saying. But if you get really lucky, you got an interpreter that can help you understand what they're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well said. And I think that goes for even for high school players listening. Even if you don't make it D1, if you still make it D3, you're still a collegiate athlete. I think people misconstrued or miss the concept that probability is a real factor. It's a lower probability to make it in the league or to make it D1 versus the higher probability of going D3, D2, or playing overseas. It's just more opportunities. So you can never discredit um, someone's journey or where they're at in basketball if they're not a D1 or NBA player, because the probabilities are actually in favor of the latter or in favor of D3, D2 overseas. It's more opportunities. You know, and they
You
cold. Until you bump up to someone who played D3 or bump up to someone who plays overseas, you're like, oh.
and it's so interesting you mentioned about D3, because a lot of people like to overlook, say,
Woo.
if you don't make it to a, this is, I always tell people this, and I was like, I wish a lot of athletes, when they get to choosing, say, the school they want to continue to do, or the school they go, where you are going to be able to showcase your talent, go where you're going to be valued and not tolerated.
I'm
Yes,
with
is it everybody's dream to go D1? Yes. Like the Power
sure,
5 D1, yes, of
sure,
course. It's everybody's
sure.
dream. But would you rather sacrifice your game where you're not going to be able to showcase your talent just to say, oh, I played for this name, and you're on the bench and you don't get that playing time. And even when, say, senior year arrives, you only play 2 minutes. Or
Yep.
are you willing, or would you rather go to, say, a mid major, a NAIA, a D2 or
Talk,
a
Ashley.
D3, a JUCO, where, hey, I can be able to showcase my talent, make a difference, can even change the culture of this program to where I can make a name where, say, I become, say, that college's first All American.
Talk about
So,
that. And there's
because I think,
development. There's development there. I rather have the in-game reps than the in-game sitting with prestige, because you'll get the development, and that's what it's all about: the mastery of the game, and
and
that
I
comes
think
from
another,
development.
and another thing is having a great relationship with a coach that actually values you outside of your game.
A world of difference. It makes a world of difference. Literally changes
So,
the trajectory of your career.
but
Yeah,
that's like one of those conversations ain't nobody ready to, like, what's it
that's
called?
why.
Ain't nobody ready for.
That's why I had to
So,
pause and say something
but
about it, Ash. That's why I had to pause and say something about it, because it needs to be said.
I'm just
Ab-
saying, like, because I see, like I said, is it easy? Is it easy to want that dream? Yes, it's so easy. But like, you can't have a D1 dream and have a JV work ethic. That's not possible. Like,
Woo.
you can't say, oh, I want to go have it. I want to play this, but then you play what you have a JV work ethic. You have to
Ash,
really sacrifice and take your time. Like, if
I'm
you really
telling
see your,
you.
but but
Yeah.
speaking of, but, but speaking of D3, you know, during, say, your college, during the time when you played in college, what would you
Okay.
say are some of the misconceptions of the competition that your college played in?
Collegiate athletes are collegiate athletes, and what I mean by that is the strength and size of these guys and their regimen towards basketball. When you were in high school, you got school all day. You maybe wake up in the morning and train. You got school all day, and then you play your game or go to your evening practice. But collegiate athletes have a regimen or a day centered around being the best basketball player they can be, whether it's provided by that school or provided by them personally. They just have more time, and I think that's when the gap is created. When you have that focus or that time to put into the game, or that's your focus. And so that's why I say a collegiate athlete is a collegiate athlete. And that's the biggest difference or misconception: the time allowed to put into the game, the reps, the weight training, and in some programs now, the dieting that's added into it. That's the difference between you being at high school or you killing on a level that's not at that collegiate level, for sure. Yep, that's what I would say.
So, and this leads to my question. You from the 336 area, Greensboro, as you know,
Yes.
North Carolina is the hoop state. Let's just get that
Whoop
out the
state.
way.
Whoop, whoop, you know
The
that.
hoop. I mean, everybody tries to argue that it ain't, but it is.
Nah, it's
We can
obvious.
we can we can list all the greats coming out of it.
It's the hoop state.
But for you, what does the North Carolina hoop legacy mean to you?
Oh man, concerning basketball, everything. It's an honor to be from Carolina because I know what that means. You're from a hoop state, so it's basketball year round. Trainers everywhere, leagues everywhere. If you really love the game, this is the state to master your game and be cold, because it's so many gyms, there's so many leagues, so many trainers, and such a community that pulls up to the games. That's special. When we go to other states to play, like in the UBA and or even overseas, and we meet these other players from other states, you'll be surprised how their state doesn't have year-round basketball. I thought that was a normal thing. No, mm-mm. Certain states may just have a pro-am. Certain states just may have a pro-am and church league. North Carolina has church leagues, pro-ams, city leagues, programs like the League NC and the Drew. It's amazing how many leagues are available to you. Yep. So
It,
yeah.
I'm saying if and I gotta ask you this question. So I've asked already a couple people who's like in their Mount Rushmore of North Carolina hoopers. But
Ooh.
for you, who's in your North Carolina Mount Rushmore hoopers?
Like from North Carolina or just played in North Carolina?
From like
From
it could be from yeah, like
from.
they raised, yes.
I'll keep it super local only because I love the local guys. I'm immediately going PJ, Kennard, Shamar, and then Marshall. Those guys. And then it's so many guys that went pro. Of course, Chris Paul. Of course, our guy from Dudley, Haywood, Brandon Haywood. Those are definitely ones to mention. But I want to keep it close knit and local with those four. But shout out to Brandon Haywood and Chris Paul for sure.
And so Kennard as in Kennard Brooks?
Kennard Moore, the shooter.
Kennard Moore. My bad. I'm sorry. Shout out to Kennard. I'm sorry for the misplace of the name of the last name. Shout out to you, Kennard. I'm so sorry. But shout out to you.
Legendary shooter.
And didn't he just join y'all team too?
Yes. And shot percentage has not changed. Legendary shooter. Oh man, absolutely.
So why those specific? You say like those are local. Why those specific ones that are
Because
like?
I remember growing up with them and being an underclassman to them, looking up to them, but at the same time in the same gyms, bumping shoulders with them. At the same time, inspiring to have that gravity offensively, to have that gravity locally. It's just a matter of bumping shoulders and actually swapping sweat and actually growing up with those people, and then still competing with most of them now. It's always going to be a more special place in my heart for them than someone who I never bumped shoulders with or trained with, like a Brandon Haywood or Chris Paul. It's the upbringing.
That makes sense. I was like, that's so interesting. I was like, I'm here for it though,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, and this leads to my question, and forgive me for asking. So my question for you is, how do you balance fatherhood and basketball simultaneously?
Oh man, get personally get my training out the way before the family wakes up. Get more training done while the family is asleep, but leave regular life available for the family when they wake up and when they go to bed. And I learned that from Kobe. Kobe used to wake up early because he wanted to have that time to spend with family, but still be in the gym. And when the family sleep, he would have opportunities to further dip off and do training. So that's the balance. And then there's opportunities where you get to blend the worlds. And what I mean by that is you have a game, the family's with you. If the situation just presents itself just right, little man is at training with me. So you look for those opportunities to blend the worlds naturally, but get your work done before they wake up and when they go to sleep. So you have to be super disciplined in your own personal time management as well. But that's how I do it personally, and it's worked out thus far.
I'm gonna say shout out to y'all. Shout out to the fathers that's be balancing the basketball, and shout out to the mothers because y'all, oh y'all, I'm like y'all
Yeah,
got it. Like
yeah,
y'all,
yeah.
like if
It ain't
yeah,
easy,
y'all
Ashley.
got
It's
it.
not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy because
Because
by nature they come by nature they come for your basketball time. But you have to embrace that because by nature they're a part of you. There's not even them being intentional with it. It's just they come for your basketball time by nature. So you kind of got to get it before and after.
that makes sense.
Yep.
Because I'm like y'all, I'm like yo, like it gotta be. It's like dang, it gotta be hard at times to like trying
Yeah.
to like because it's like how do I split my time on you know, doing what I love, but also this is this is a life that, that was procreated. So now it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's part of me now. So it's like, so I say kudos, shout out to y'all for real. Like,
No,
woo! Shout out to y'all.
yeah,
So,
no doubt. Oh
but
man.
this leads to my question for you. I
Mhm.
always say that athletes are humans first. So, as a black man, a black father, and an athlete, how important is mental health to you?
It's very important. I know everyone says that it's very important, but like I really mean it because it's like it's hard to function when the mind's not functioning correctly. And even if you go through season of just pushing through things and pushing through trauma, at some point, the mental trauma or what you're going through is going to rear its head. So I'm really big on that, and I think it's super important. And the key to getting into that, if you're listening, anybody who's going through anything, the key to getting to that is just being acceptable or receptive to vulnerability. And it's hard to be vulnerable. It's crazy. It's hard to be vulnerable with people who are close to you because you want to have a certain image and you want them to regard you in a certain way. And that's fine. Be vulnerable to a stranger. It's easier, believe it or not, to confess or express trauma through somebody who don't know you, who don't have that history, someone who you don't want to necessarily have you upheld in the high esteem. Be vulnerable to a stranger, and then and to take it a step further, make that stranger a professional. There's nothing wrong with it at all, and I support it. And I tell anybody, please go see help, for real, for real. Because basketball alone is stressful, let alone life. Man.
This leads to my question though, because I've always wondered, especially for men and male athletes, when it comes to opening up about, say, how they feeling or their emotions and mental health,
Mhm.
why is it, why do you believe it is very difficult for, say, men and male athletes to open up about mental health?
The stigma of strength being in silence. I'm strong because I'm silent and I'm pushing through. But we all know that works for you when it comes to training. That works for you when it comes to sports. But when it comes to the mind, the mind, you have to address what's causing the mind to hurt. And truth be told, it still applies in sports as well. If your legs are hurting, if your elbow is hurting, if that shoulder is off, what do naturally? Yes, you push through the workout, but you go get it checked out. You go see what's wrong. Why isn't it firing the way it is? Why aren't my legs the way they want? Why they're not working properly? I think we can take that same approach to the mind as well. Just like you would go see a doctor if that shooting shoulder hurting. Go ahead and see a doctor about that mind. If processing things privately isn't getting you there, if being silent and secret isn't getting you there, go see a professional, just like you would in the sports world. But I think that's what it stems from with male athletes, just that stigma of strength in silence, quote unquote. Um, do you feel like female athletes process mental health differently or
Hey,
better?
this is, ooh, from, I can only speak for myself. Dang, nobody has asked me this. Um, I think I was, I can only first speak for myself. As a female athlete, I think for me it's very different from others.
Mm,
I say that as somebody that is on the autism spectrum. We don't have, like, say, uh safe spaces where we're able to, say, communicate with, say, somebody that may try to figure out how we, yeah. Yeah,
face
yeah, Ben. Yeah, Ben. He said, this is what he said. James hit her with the question of his, yeah, yeah.
Shout out
Uh,
Ben and John. I should have known he was watching.
But I think it was great. I think for me though, um, I as speaking up on mental health wise, like I think I will say it has its moments. And I
Mm.
say this, like I said, um, like I can't speak for I can't speak for other female athletes. I can only speak for my own.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, as a female athlete, but who's on the autism spectrum, I don't it's like we don't have say you don't see safe spaces for someone like me, like that's on the autism spectrum that that
Yeah.
has like for
Face.
people, yeah, like for people like trying to understand us, like trying to who finding people that want to get a better understanding of how we navigate life, or why I say sometimes we may elope or run away from situations because sometimes we get overstimulated or certain
Overstimulated.
things.
Yeah.
So like why is it so easy for us to say elope and run away, and or sometimes why we hold things in and say
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot. We don't have those safe spaces where somebody like give us that safe space. But I think for me, as you know, it's it's tough, but also like vulnerability is essential to bring in joy. I always believe that
So
you
you
have
already knew what I was
to.
talking about. Vulnerability,
Oh,
right?
vulnerability is essential to bringing joy if you think about it, because you know you're gonna cry. There's gonna times be crying. I don't like to cry. I try not to cry because like where I be told like as like if you cry you weak. I'm like, man,
That,
so
that's
me trying
that's
to
that misconception. Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
me trying to hold things in and then I say something happens and I blow up displace anger at somebody, but like I'm not angry at you. Something it just triggered, and all of a sudden I start crying. Like that happens because it's
Yeah.
like how do you like? It's just how I think when there is a that's why I always looked at basketball as a safe space for me. It's a ball, it's a gym, it's a ball like that. Don't talk back to you, it don't talk back to you. Can throw it and it won't talk back to you, and you could probably kick it and it won't kick back at you. But at the end of the day, you know, I think having a safe space, I always say when somebody provides a safe, like especially for men, I say this, especially for men, when somebody provides a safe space for a man where he is respected while he is opening up, where he is
But while
respected
being
and
vulnerable, yes.
yes, where he is appreciated and valued and seen, that is the ultimate sign of respect. Like it is so important, like I said, it is so important for a man to have a safe space when he opens up, especially because it's already hard for a man to open up. It's already hard unless he trusts you with his life. And I swear, oh gosh, this is why I say it's women, ladies, please take it as a badge of honor if a man is open up to you. Because I swear for God, if you say this man is weak and he opens up to you, you say he is weak, that's on you, not him. But I say like when it is so important to provide a safe space for a man where when he opens up, he is respected and seen and appreciated. Like it's the
Mm.
ultimate sign of respect. So I look
Yeah.
at it like, but like I said, folks ain't ready for those conversations. So I'd be
But
like,
that's the value, though, of us bringing in someone, a stranger that's a professional. That's the value in that because you can be more vulnerable to them. Have you ever heard about the dilemma of the man at the bus stop? Here's the
no,
dilemma at
please,
the man at the bus stop. Someone's going through something, right? And they can't express their feelings to their partner, their siblings, or their best friends because what they're going through would affect or could alter their image in their eyes of their siblings, their spouse, or their best friend. But the stranger at the bus stop has no preconceived notion of who they are, so they can open up and be vulnerable to that stranger at the bus stop. And naturally, that stranger at the bus stop would give them respect and reverence off humanity alone. We're just speaking in general. That's the concept of the stranger at the bus stop. So if you really apply that to mental health, like They're not paying us, but BetterHelp.com, man, like get on there. And if you got somebody that you could be vulnerable and you won't feel like your respect is diminishing, tap into that. It helps tremendously. Um, for real. I can't stress that enough. Like, don't be looking good on the outside and be toe up on the inside. And it helps out so much when you can just be vulnerable in a safe place. Seek that out, people.
It's like that's the thing too. Like I saw this. It's like, how is it fair that that you're able to, or we're able to laugh at about things, but you're kind of like scared to open up the say the nervous parts, or scared about opening up what's making you like sad. Like, how is it fair that we're able to laugh up about all the good things, but when say something is wrong, it's like you're what's going on? Like, I shouldn't be like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't be laughing all the time to where like you're kind of like say, and I can't figure out what's wrong, like, and you're not saying anything. Like,
Everybody
how's that
wants,
fair?
they want good perception to those who are closest to them. And sometimes opening up, there's a threat of altering or hindering that good perception of someone who you're close to. So, but there's answers. You can work around that. Yeah.
And but this leads to my question of, I always, if there was a word or phrase, first of all, shout out to you for the question, because I was like, oh well, dang, if nobody hits me with that question, and then Ben said, oh, hit her with the question. Bow. Shout out to y'all. But if there was a word or phrase to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
Mm. Word or phrase to describe my journey, my hoop journey so far.
Either
Uh,
or.
Hoop journey, word or phrase to describe it thus far. Just do it. Just do it. You know you got to get up and train. Just do it. You know you got to watch what you eat. Just do it. You know you have to get better in this area and receive criticism. Okay, just do it. Um, that would describe my hoop journey, and that's from being undersized, underskilled in high school to making those necessary adjustments to be better. Just do it. That's no Nike pun intended, but yeah, for sure.
No, not people that just like, just do it. That's like,
Yeah, they
like
wear it all the time, but who really is living that just do it life? Just do it.
I. That's a great question. I mean, if people be wearing Nikes, and then are they actually just doing it? Like, are they
Yeah,
just
like
looking?
seriously, are you just gonna do it?
So
Yeah.
this. So my question for you is: outside of your sport, what do you want to be remembered for your legacy?
Oh, okay, for sure. Outside of my sport, what I want to be remembered for my legacy, would be being a man of God that walked in integrity and servitude. Being a man of God that walked in integrity and servitude with everybody. If I'll go out of here, that's what I want to be remembered for, and that's what I would want to be known about me. Man, James was a man of God. He walked in integrity at all times, and he was a servant, no matter what it was, whether hoops, whether in life. He was down to serve or help you the best he could.
That's real. Hey, and your name is James, so it's like the book of James. It's like, oh, that fits.
No, you didn't.
Like, your name is James, the book of James. Like, he talked about just do it. It does talk about perseverance in the first chapter of James
The
1,
book
2
of
through
James
12.
does have that just do it energy in it, for sure. That's wild. I see you, Ashley. I see what you're
Yeah.
doing right there. Oh, wow.
It's like, y'all, if y'all been enjoying this podcast, y'all could donate to the podcast. Boom, boom. There you go. So this leads to my question. I always ask my guests this question. Bonafide means authentic, unique, but for the men, the authenticity. So,
Hmm.
what makes Mr. James Sinclair authentic, and what makes your story stands out?
What makes me authentic is honesty and integrity. Um, you can still love a brother, love a sister, be honest, and treat them right even when they're not looking. Be yourself in front of people. That's what makes me authentic. And I would say, shoot, I think that's what matters to me the most. Um, when you meet people, when you're in this field of basketball, when you're in this world, can you embrace hard conversations? Can you embrace being honest? And when no one's looking, can you still do the right thing? That's yep. That's what it. Yep. That's definitely my answer for that question for sure.
Let me go ahead and get my little shakers real quick because I don't have my big tambourine. I'm still looking for my big tambourine, but these are my little tambourines. These shakers. I'm with
Yep.
it. I'm
Yep.
with it. When you know you hear something real and true, the shakers come out like
The
some
shakers
gems
come
got
out.
dropped. Gems got dropped. Bow. So,
For sure. For sure. For sure.
Mr. James, can you let the folks know how where they can find you, support you, and any upcoming games and events happening your way?
Absolutely. Follow the team page at n.c.elite on IG. Follow me at James, the number 7 Sinclair at IG. That's James 7 Sinclair. Um, Follow the Georgia Panthers page at GA Panthers Basketball. Um, and if you just want to type it in, you can just type in Georgia's GA Panthers baskets and you'll come up. You'll see the Black Panther symbol. Tap in with that. And we're here. We're here as an organization, as a team, to help any hoopers the best we can. And that's where you can find me for sure.
Y'all be sure to follow the man, the myth, the legend himself, James Sinclair. And be sure to follow the NC Elite at n.c.elite on Instagram
Yes.
and Georgia Panthers, GA Panthers, and
Baskets. Yep. Yep.
GA Panthers baskets, what he said too.
Yeah.
And also, I'm guessing y'all got a game coming up. So if y'all in the High Point area,
Yes.
be sure to check out the NC Elite as they're competing and they're gonna get a ring. They
We're
want a
going
ring.
for
They're going for a ring. They're going for a title. They were like,
another
we're gonna
one.
get the summer title before the summer ends. So be sure to check out their games. Hey, you guys speak into existence. Be sure to check out the NC Elite at the High Point Pro Am if you there and check out
Yeah.
their games. And especially before they take a break because y'all they've been
The off
traveling.
season.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait. The much needed off season is upon us. It's getting close.
It's coming among us. It's like
Yeah,
the break is coming.
we're gonna finish it strong though. We're gonna finish out the season strong. But we're looking forward to the off season for sure.
But y'all be sure to follow James Sinclair and NC Elite on Instagram and be sure to check out the live replay of Bonafide Her podcast, episode 260, featuring James Sinclair.
60.
And yes, see 260 already. So yes, that means 40 away from 300, y'all. So be sure to check out the live replay of episode 260 featuring the one and only James Sinclair after this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.